Assalamualaikum. Um, if you want to enjoy poetry, I think one of the best ways, और अंग्रेजी का आज का है तो अंग्रेजी में ही गुफ्तगू है. I'll try to switch to one of the best ways to actually enjoy the same is through anthologies. If you want to enjoy poetry, because someone who has already enjoyed the poetry, he's saying, well, these are the greatest. It said these are the ones that I like. And even better than general anthologies, this I highly recommend this new series called Lifelines New and Collected. It is basically letters from famous people about their favorite poems. So what the persons who compiled this book have done, they've asked various different, sent out letters to ordinary people, famous writers, and asked them to recommend their own favorite poems. What poems do they like? And basically whatever they've written and whichever poems they've asked recommended, all of those poems. So they have printed those along with it in this book. Interesting thing is, ordinary people are a problem with a lot of poetry is a lot of poetry is a very high flown, and old poetry, if you take a look at, that is something that really puts you off of that. So in regards to that, the cool thing about this particular is it's especially the ones by ordinary people. The cool thing about that is the books that you go ahead end up getting in this particular thing are the ones, the poems are that ordinary people like. So you and I will absolutely love as well. So let me take you through a fair few, and hopefully you'll enjoy those as well. So, since a PDF of this book is not available online, what I'm going to do is I'll read from this particular book and then take you to the relevant poem online, because most of the poetry, especially the older ones, are available online. So, hopefully, you'll enjoy those as well. So, let's start with, for example, Stephen Burkoff, uh, or Jenny Joseph, or Louis Gluck, which are the ones that I liked. In fact, Jeffrey Archer, politician, writer as well, and he's a novelist as well. So he has recommended The Thousandth Man by Rudyard Kipling. Kipling, uh, Thousandth Man. So English verse, let's open that up. So this way you can actually see with the various websites that are available online as well. But first let's see what Jeffrey Archer had to write. Dear Miss Grantham, many thanks for your letter. My favorite poem is The Thousandth Man by Rudyard Kipling because it reflects my own attitude to loyalty and friendship. I am a great admirer of Kipling because he had a great command of the language as well as being a first class storyteller. May I wish your projects every success. Yours sincerely, Jeffrey Archer. I have not read this. One of my favorite poems is If. We'll also check that out as well by Kipling. This Ganga Din as well. You can even say about Kipling that he was pro-British. He was about an age of empire that we would much rather forget. But as I agree with Jeffrey Archer. His command of the language and ideas. If, for example, is one of my favorite poems, probably my most favorite poem. But let's take a look at The Thousandth Man. One man in a thousand, Solomon says, will stick more close than a brother, and it's worthwhile seeking him in half your days if you find him before the other. 999 depend on what the world sees in you, but the thousandth man will stand your friend with the whole round world against you, again you. 'Tis neither promise nor prayer nor show will settle the findings for ye. 999 of them go by your looks or acts or your glory. But if he finds you and you find him, the rest of the world don't matter. The thousandth man will sink or swim with you in any water. Matter, water, weak rhyme. You can use his purse with no more talk than he uses yours for his spendings, and laugh and meet in your daily walk, and though there had been no lendings. 999 of them call for silver and gold in their dealings, but the thousandth man he's worth him all because you can show him your feelings. दोस्ती के बारे में है. It's about friendship, so yeah, definitely. If you, and I've had the opportunity to have a few brilliant friends as well. What I think Kipling was lucky if he only got one out of 1,000. I have one or two or three, so lucky at that. His wrongs, you're wrong, and his right, you're right, in season or out of season. Stand up back and stand up and back it all, in all men's sight. With that you have your only reason. 999 can't fight the shame or mocking or laughter, but the thousand man will stand by your side to the gallows foot and after. I must appreciate that as well. In life you go through ups and downs. Everyone actually stands by you when you're going through your up, and I've gone through a lot of downs as well. It's the friend who tries to look after you, who actually is there with you through thick and thin, that really matters in this particular thing, this particular thing called life. So Hassan Yusuf Shah, this is actually for you, because he is caring to an irritating extent. So that's Aman Khan, this is for you. Ali Noor, this is perhaps for you actually, because it's normally the other way around. Be as it may, as I've pointed out, two or three friends that you're very close with intellectually, who look after you, you look after them. If you're lucky to have a few, you're very lucky in life. So if you've not already read it, is an essential poem that you should read, and you should live your life by. I won't go through all of it. It's the last para of verses that I would like to take you through, because they mean a lot to me as well, as do the rest as well. But let's just focus on this. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. These are words that I've tried to live by, to retain your common touch, despite reading high flowing ideas and all of that as well. If you can walk with everyone, but not lose your common touch, but more than that, 60 seconds of distance run, whatever life you have, you should try to actually make it count, or at least that is what is most important. You make your effort, and yours is the earth and everything that's in it. What is more, you'll be a man, my son. So you stand by your own convictions and do whatever you think needs doing, rather than just thinking about thinking. Just go ahead and do, and that's what actually makes a man in this life. So that is one of my recommendations. Another one, let's take a look at Judi Dench, the actress, Beryl Bainbridge, Garrett Fitzgerald, Shropshire, Richard Dawkins, the scientist. I'm trying to find one that one can talk about as well. Louis Gluck talked about, recommended 12th Night from Shakespeare. Neil Stokes, the journalist, to his mistress going to bed. Gala pakda gaya lagta. Another one that I recommend, for example, Alison Dye. A lot of people talk about, well, let's talk about Tennyson. Sorry, not Tennyson, Coleridge, but who wrote Kubla Khan. Alison Dye, a novelist, basically writes about, let's see, find Kubla Khan. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree. I remember, read it before. he apparently wrote this when it was from a dream he had while he was in the while he was using opium. So not that he had ever been there, but he came up with this. So let's see. Uh, you can script Cooper if you could check it out. You can even find it there. Trying very hard not to actually do it in Minglish to continue speaking in English as an exercise today with you. Samuel Taylor Coleridge was one of the first points. Romantic moment, human emotion, and nature were the themes that he explored. Kubla Khan, Coleridge is imagined version of 13th century Mongolian ruler Kublai Khan. Poem speakers compares the natural beauty and peaceful setting of the palace with the war and chaos outside world. Poem progresses. Coleridge alludes to his own inability to finish the poem. Is a poem of pure romance. All romantic associations are concentrated in this short poem. It contains many sensuous phrases and pictures like bright gardens, intense bearing trees laden with blossom, sunny spots of greenery. Then again, the description of the Abyssinian maid is very romantic in character, which I had not seen. I don't recall reading it previously and reading about an Abyssinian maid. Supernaturalism is also a romantic quality. Kubla Khan is a supernatural poem based on a dream. There are images and expressions in it which are supernatural in character and create an atmosphere of mystery and awe. Caverns measureless to man, a sunless sea, a deep romantic chasm, etc. Kubla Khan is a triumph of supernaturalism, transports you out of your work of what? That's true. If you try to read it and try to lose yourself into it, then you can definitely lose yourself into it. I'm sitting in Mazanga Road, but let's read about Kubla Khan. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome a decree, where Alf the sacred river ran through caverns measureless to man, down to the sunless sea. So twice 5 miles of fertile ground with walls and towers were girdled round, and there were gardens bright with sinuous rills, where blossoms many an incense-bearing tree, and there were forests ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. Really interesting the rhyme scheme. I mean, you can examine this as well. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan decree a stately pleasure dome decree where Alf the sacred river ran. First A and B don't rhyme, and then second and third lines rhyme. Khan, you can say Khan also rhymes with ran and man. Down to sunless sea. So the rhyming scheme is A, B, A, B. Very interesting. And then he changes it around to A, B, A, B, A, B. So it's you explore rather than actually just A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. It's interesting how he breaks it up as well. I wonder if it's, I mean, if you're trying to read it for the very first time, it's very interesting that you can't, and you're expecting it the next line to rhyme, and if it doesn't, as it did previously, it does throw you off and your ability to read it unless you've read it before. But I guess that also requires you to come back to it again and read it again. But oh, I've lost myself, let's go to it. But oh, the deep romantic chasm which slanted down the green hill athwart a sudden cover, a savage place as holy and enchanted as ever will beneath a waning moon was haunted by a woman wailing for her demon lover. A woman wailing for her demon lover. As from this chasm with ceaseless turmoil seething, as if earth in fast thick pants was breathing. In fast thick pants, not benevolently. A mighty fountain momently was forced amid those swift half intermittent bursts. Huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail or chaffy grain beneath the thresher's flail. Amid these dancing rocks at once and ever, it flung up momently the sacred river. 5 miles meandering with a mazy motion through wood and dale, the sacred river ran. They then reached the caverns measureless to man and sank in the tumult to a lifeless ocean. Uh, mid this tumult, Kubla heard from far and ancestral voices prophesizing war. The interesting thing about Kubla Khan, he was considered to be academic in his nature and had to toughen himself up for war. So unlike Genghis Khan, his it's interesting, and well, not that I am Kubla Khan, but I sort of feel kinship with it as well because real life demands you to toughen up. So you might be academic, which I have a tendency to be, but what is very interesting is in life you have to war. In life you have to actually make an effort. So even and that's the case for even a king, and that's the case for even an ordinary person like I and you. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, where was heard the mingled measure from the fountain and the caves. It was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a dulcimer in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid and on her dulcimer she played. Sing, a damsel with a dulcimer in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played. Singing of Mount Abora, could I revive within me her symphony and songs to such a such a deep delight toward win me, that with music loud and long, I would bring that dome in air, the sunny dome, those caves of ice, and all who heard should see them there, and all should cry, beware, beware. His flashing eyes, his floating hair, weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honey dewed hath fed, and drunk the milk of paradise. Kubla Khan analysis. Drunk the milk of paradise. Well, I don't think Kubla Khan is going, after killing so many people, is going to end up in paradise. I think he's going to end up in hell, despite all of his best efforts. Or maybe he will end up in heaven. Do kings end up in heaven? I mean, all of these questions that you come up with, whatever you come across, that if you come up with these questions, then the poem that you're basically reading, it's probably succeeded because it's made you think. Interesting thing. Once again, a poem that needs rereading, and you try to think of. I read it very quickly with you, but then you slow it down and you try to think of the image in your mind's eye down to the sunless sea. So twice, 5 times, with fertile ground, with walls and towers were girdled round. So and enjoy the rhythm as well of the words as well. So yeah, good choice, Kubla Khan. So let's see what Alison Dye, the novelist, had to write about it. Dear Eon, Anne, and Chris, thank you very much for your letter asking for a favorite poem. I was surprised to discover that my first reaction to your request was to travel in my mind not to poetry I read in the present day, but to a poem I first knew and loved almost 30 years ago in college, a poem that took hold of me and apparently never let go, called Now by Your Letter. The poem is Kubla Khan by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Its first lines indelibly imprinted on my unconscious everyone's eye, it seems. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan, a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf the sacred river ran, through caverns measureless to man, down to a sunless sea. I'm not a poet and certainly not a critic of poetry, but so my reasons for responding so deeply to Kubla Khan are not in any way academic. As I'm saying, I remain enthralled with its stunning, shining, dreamlike images of peace and light, but also gripped by its ominous, foreboding sense of dread, which makes one worry indeed for the beauty and romance. And all should cry, beware, beware, and close your eyes with holy dread. And the miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice, also contains the foreshadowing to my eyes and ears of much darker prospects. The ocean to which the sacred river runs is lifeless and sunless, and as it reaches the sea from caverns measureless to man, Kubra Khan heard from afar ancestral voices prophesying war. I find the language of the poem absolutely riveting. One is caught off balance by the seductive, subtle, seductive way in which it brings alive and together the opposing forces of death and life, peace and war, light and dark. One cannot be complacent in a stately pleasure dome, although the poem attempts one to float along darkness is nibbling at the pleasing surface. Things are not as they seem. For me, the juxtaposition of the two possibilities creates a complex, provocative, and irreconcilable tension. Perhaps that is why I have never forgotten the poem. I'm also struck as I write this that Kubla Khan may quite appropriate to the interest of lifelines. Our relative plenty is in stark contrast to the suffering of your anthology seeks to help relieve. I don't understand what she's. Both exist. One is very difficult and indeed to reconcile with the other. Again, a relatively rosy state of being is at odds with the realities elsewhere that cannot be denied. I'm afraid I've written far more than the few lines you've asked for. My apologies. I'm also enclosing a copy of my first novel, which I would like to donate to the school in the hopes of encouraging new young writers. Best wishes for your project, and I'm certainly grateful that you thought to include me, Alison Dye. So the entire poem is there as well. So one last one, and then I will let you go, and I need to turn towards let's see what Joseph Brodsky, actually, I think Russian, but he was a poet, writes in New York. Dear Mr. Gibson, Miss Jackson, and Mr. Pillow, I would say that my favorite poem is Desert Places by Robert Frost. As for as for reasons for my choice, my feelings about this poem are not reducible to a few lines. The poem is a few lines itself. You're better off reading them than anything I would have to say about them. Yours sincerely, Joseph Brodsky. So let's check out Desert Places. Robert Frost. It's a song, actually, not a. Well, can we take me up? I don't want to. Let's see the poetry hour. Snow falling and night falling fast, oh fast. In a field I looked into going past. Snow falling and night falling fast, oh fast. In a field I looked into going past. And the ground almost covered smooth in snow, but a few weeds and stubble showing last. The woods around it have it, it is theirs. All animals are smothered in their lairs. I am too absent spirited to count. The loneliness includes me unawares. And lonely as it is, that loneliness will be more lonely ere it will be less. Will be more lonely ere it will be less. Let's see, a blanker whiteness of benighted snow with no expression, nothing to express. They cannot scare me with their empty spaces between stars, on stars where no human race is. I have it in me so much nearer home to scare myself with my own desert places. Absolutely, seriously, not been able to understand it at all with the Robert Frost. I understand there's a theme of loneliness, silence, nature actually dealing with the human condition as well, and all of that as well. But snow falling and night falling fast, oh fast, in a field I looked into going past. Let's analyze it. So, at night he's alone, obviously, and he's going past in a field. He's going past that, I imagine, driving at night, walking at night, or the ground almost covered in smooth snow with a few weeds and stubble growing last, showing last. So clearly snow is falling, and few weeds and stubble are what are breaking through the snow. It's all, since it's almost covered in snow. The woods around it have it, it is theirs. All animals are smothered in their lairs. So the woods around it have it, it is theirs. What do they have? Snow, I guess. All animals are smothered in their lairs. Uh, People who are woods who are standing, they actually own the snow and the animals which are who are smothered in their layers. I am too absent spirited to count. The loneliness includes me. Uh, the loneliness includes me unawares. So interesting thing. What he's basically saying is, I am too absent spirited to count. The loneliness includes me unawares. So the loneliness of all of the animals, snow actually is falling on them, and lonely as it is, that loneliness will be more lonely air. It will be less. Will be more air. It will be less. Will it be more or a blanker whiteness of benighted snow with no expression, nothing to express? They cannot scare me in their empty spaces between stars or on stars where no human race is. I have it in me so much near home to scare myself with my own desert places. Or there's no snow in the desert, invariably. So I don't understand what the contrast is. And like all of this, maybe you need to then go back to, I'll try to understand it as well, but let's see. Meaning, ask what themes of isolation, loneliness, and existential, uh, using snow covered landscape as a metaphor for speakers in its state. The poem contrasts the external desolate winter scene with the deeper internal loneliness the speaker finds even more frightening, concluding is can be more desert than the empty space between the stars. Stars are way up there. I don't know how it works and what is so brilliant about this particular poem, because existential dread. Well, I can understand all of that. He's that's what he's reaching for. But let's see. Let's chart humanity's place in the universe. That's what it's talking about. Expresses dread that the whole human race can be read as a meditation on humanity's isolation in the grand scheme of cosmos. Yes, that because when you talk about stars, then yes, the isolation, grand scheme of the cosmos, and the reflection of the speaker's personal loneliness. The speaker, this is lit charts. The speaker traveling at night in a snowstorm, feeling profoundly alone while watching white blankness cover a nearby field. The blankness seems to reflect nature's general indifference towards humanity, say, and it may also reflect the speaker's own internal sense of detachment and desolation. The speaker finds such desert places, that is, the empty, isolated spaces of the earth and of the or the mind, as frightening to contemplate as a vast void of outer space. One of enduringly popular places, desert places, was first published in 1934 and later collected in the Pulitzer Prize winning novel of a further range. Let's read it again because I still don't get it. That's the cool thing about a poem, that you can come back to it again and again and again and try to understand it. So let's analyze it after having read all of this as well. The cool thing about doing reading poetry or doing this analysis even as a lawyer is gives you ability to understand, go back to words. They're the same words. I mean, it's not poetry that we deal with but in the profession of law, but analyze it, what was being said, how can it be read differently, how can it be read to your benefit, what is the actual meaning of it, stuff like that. That it's prepares it enhances your skill to do that if you get involved in reading poetry or trying to write some yarn. Snow falling and the night fast falling, oh fast in a field I looked into going past. So clearly he's walking past a field and the ground almost covered smooth in snow, but a few weeds and stubble showing last. The woods around it have it. It is there's all animals are smothered in their layers. Smothered can be dying in their layers as well, covered by snow. The houses are smothered and they're basically existing within their own lonely spaces. The loneliness includes me unawares, and lonely as it is, that loneliness, well, he's alone even otherwise traveling on a road and everyone else is in their homes. because it's snowing. And well, you can also talk about bad times as well. Snow can also reflect bad times in life as well, or nature being against you. It's snowing, you are traveling, you are on your own, everyone is else is in their own area, in their own circle, and there's nothing actually people can do to help you out. So they're being smothered in their own layers. They're all stuck there. I'm too absent spirited to count the loneliness includes me unaware. So it is lonely, even though in the last poem, for example, we talked about friends and how they can try to help you. But at the end of the day, your human body or your existence is a desert place as well, because everything that you'll go through, even with your parents, you will go through it on one level utterly alone. So even they can't possibly help you. The loneliness which includes me unawares, and lonely as it is, that loneliness will be more lonely air, it will be less. What does the word air mean? I think uh, it meaning it mean unless, or is he saying here? I was driven from air, where air, or does it mean where? We hope. What does it mean? Before, preceding in time. I didn't know this. Will be more lonely before, it will be less. Okay, so you can say this as well. On one level you can possibly read it as like, will be more lonely before, it will be less. So in life, when you're going through bad times, well, you have to go through it alone. And once you have crossed over and become part of society again, once that bad time has basically passed, I guess you can then go ahead and the loneliness actually goes away, I guess. A blanker whiteness of benighted snow with no expression, nothing to express. They cannot scare me with their empty spaces between stars. So there is, he's feeling, despite all of this loneliness, he's feeling strong. They cannot scare me with the empty spaces between stars. On stars, there are no, on stars where no human race is. Uh, I have it in me so much nearer to home to scare myself with my own desert places that, well, if I look at the universe, the hugeness of it does not particularly, I guess, like scare me. What scares me is already inside me, I guess that's what he's saying, and around me as well. I have it in me so much nearer to home to scare myself with my own desert places. It's the pain that you're going through. I mean, on the one level, you can talk about universal things, universal suffering, a million four other things as well. But at the end of the day, what it appears to be from this particular poem is, you don't need to look at the grander scheme of things. Everyone carries their own desert places or own crises, own pain, and you I mean, no one can do anything about your pain. At the end of the day, no one can take each other's pain away, even if you try. I mean, friends, yes, you can talk about it as well. I've written about this at length as well. uh, does I mean Another question that comes up is, does sharing pain, does it lessen it, or with your friends and family, or does it increase it? Does it causes them anxiety as well, causes them to actually deal with it? As we should check out this poem I wrote called A Man Like That. If you've not checked out my uh, poems and songs, Okara, you definitely should kayums.com/mac lyrics poems.html. You should check out G. Sir, please, I'm recording something. Thank you. You should check out this poem I wrote called A Man Like That. Uh, I think that's what it was called. Man Insult World. For I am a man like that. Let's see where it is. It's a man for all seasons. A man insulted me. Anyways, you can. I'll share it with you in the description as well. If you want to check out my poem about this as well, because it talks about the concept of being a man, a manliness, and I am a man like that. Sorry. Yes. So, in all honesty, sharing my pain does not numb or lessen the same, for I am a man like that. And it does not come easy to say, can you help me? And even if you offer and even if you probe, I cannot for the life of me ask for your hand, for I am a man like that. A friend of mine once upon a time actually read this and gave me a mug जिसके ऊपर ये लिखा हुआ था. The friend is a friend, but does that actually आपकी जो isolation होती है as being a person, I mean, once again, the notion of being a man, one wonders actually if it is self-imposed. And when you try to help me, it helps me not, for I have been taught since I was taught that I have to carry my load on my own, for I am a man-in-law. In all honesty does not come naturally to me, not as opening up to tell you stuff. You see, I am a man like that. Lovers tale, I want to tell you this, and yet I cannot, for this is not a poem by me, for I am a man like that. एंड में थोड़ा बहुत गेम प्ले है, ट्राइंग टू कंफ्यूज द इशू. और ख़ासतौर पे यू कम अक्रॉस सर्टेन पीपल जहाँ पे अगर आपने बहुत ही अपनी सेंसिटिव या अपना ओपन करके अपने अंदर वाली चीज़ की हो, तो समटाइम्स एक्चुअली देयर आर सर्टेन poets and certain writers. Paul Westerberg is one. Tries to write from the perspective of a woman. He tries to write differently, or he tries to actually laugh it off when what he has basically taught about is actually really blood and guts. For example, it was said about U2, for example, one of its most heartbreaking or intense album is called Achtung Baby. Achtung Baby is a funny title, yet at the heart of it, it's about divorce, it's about breakup. This song, one of my favorite ones, is called So Cruel, about the divorce that Edge was going through. Written by, the lyrics are obviously by Bono, but once again I've gone into music. So I mean, you can, one thing takes you to another, and that's the fun thing about all of this as well. While there's loneliness in the intellectual life as well, there's a lot of fun with it as well, and there's a lot more actually that you can read more and more and more and more and more and explore yourself in that particular way as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. Once again, this was an effort of me trying to talk in English. I've been talking in Minglish way too much, and trying to be in an effort to be accessible, I guess, for all of the lectures and even otherwise as well. So it's interesting. I hope this long video, I hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know what you think about it, and do check out all of the poems, and do share with me any good poems that you've read as well. Thank you. Bye bye.